we've talked about what is uberASSIST and how it's improved my life getting out and about. Next up is how to communicate with people with disabilities. So when communicating with a person with a disability, it involves two pieces. It's put the person first by saying it first, and it involves perceiving them first before their disability. So when we're talking about the language of person first, it means literally putting the person first in the sentence. So for example, instead of diabetic person, it's a person with diabetes. Or wheelchair user, it's a person that uses a wheelchair. And so it means literally putting the person first. It shows the dignity and respect of seeing the person before you talk about their disability. So person first is the language. Person first is also the perception of person first. It's more than saying person first. Let's take my friend Sarah, for example. She's someone who uses a wheelchair. She's also a mom, she's an athlete, she's an author. She's a person before she's a person who uses a wheelchair. And yourselves as Uber partners, you're an Uber partner and you're also artists and athletes and dreamers yourself. We are all so much more than just one facet of our lives. Remember, say and see the person first. So we've covered what is uberASSIST. Then we looked at communicating with people with disabilities, say and see the person first. Next up is assisting people with disabilities. And many of these tips you can use with all your customers. UberX, uberASSIST, everyone. And so what we have is this helpful acronym called WALL, W-A-L-L. And it's breaking down the barriers of the wall. And you do that by watching, asking, listening, and learning. So to help you learn WALL, we're going to watch a short video. Afterwards, there'll be some skill practice questions.
Imagine a wall. When a person with a disability is planning an outing, what comes to that person's mind are all of the obstacles or bricks in a wall that limit their every move. For example, buses with a lack of seating, taxis that will not stop, and subways with limited accessible stops are all barriers. By incorporating the following 4 steps, you can break down the wall of exclusion and create a wall of inclusion. First, the W in WALL. The W stands for watch. Be observant of passengers and their abilities. If the person looks like he or she might need additional assistance, approach the person in a friendly manner and introduce yourself. This is especially important when picking up someone who is blind or has low vision. Observe the passenger and structure your approach based on that person's specific needs. The all-important A in the wall is for ask. Ask the person, "How may I assist you?" If your passenger uses a wheelchair, walker, or rollator, do not attempt to dismantle it and store the device without first asking the passenger's permission. A good approach is to ask the passenger, "Do you have a preference as to how I stow your wheelchair or other assistive device?" Remember that an assistive device is almost like an extension of someone's body. In addition to assistive devices, it is also necessary to allow service animals to travel in your vehicles. Service animals should be allowed to ride with the passenger on the floor of the back seat of the car. Be polite and mindful of the language you use, and never hesitate to ask the person's preferences. The ask leads you to the first L, which is to listen. Once you ask a passenger how you may assist, they will give you specific instructions on how to best accommodate them. Pay attention to what the passenger says and then act on what they say. You can also repeat the instruction for complete clarity. If they don't need or want assistance, take no for an answer. Finally, the last L is to learn. Let the customer know that you understand their needs and respond appropriately. Store this information and the experience to build your knowledge for the future. If you follow these 4 letters, you will break down that wall and create a simple, positive experience and a satisfied passenger.
So keep in mind for your upcoming skill practice, watch. Start with hello. Ask, how can I assist you? And then listen. Really listen to what the customer has said. So for example, if I say, no, I'm fine, thanks, it's okay to take no for an answer. And learn. Learn what it is that the customer needs. Learn from this interaction for your next interaction. In my case, if I need someone to pull my left arm, learn that what helps me best is to help me exactly the way I need, which in my case is pulling my left arm. It may seem logical to pull my long right arm, but what I've asked is to pull my left arm. Thanks so much. Good luck with your quiz.